are an NGO, are a NGO that fights against child sexual abuse for the survivors. We stand with the survivors against child sexual abuse. Hi, Jasmine. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Anith. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so I baru je memperkenalkan diri. So before we truly start, let me just remind you guys through the house rules. I'm gonna place it here dekat our chat box kejap So we have 4 house rules. Basically, first, we must respect everyone's opinion. Kita agree to disagree. Please participate and share your thoughts. But there's no pressure. If you feel tak nak cakap pun tak apa, nak dengar je boleh. And if you want to ask questions, please ask away. You can do either by turn on your microphone or you can leave it at the chat box. So, for tonight's topic is going to be about the movie Spirited Away and the theory of child prostitution. So how I'm going to do, how I'm going to discuss tonight's topic would be roughly ada 4 cabang, I would say. First, we're going to go through the movie together. So there's going to be major spoiler. Have you guys watched the movie previously? Not yet?
Yep.
Some time ago, yes.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay, for those who haven't watched it, there's gonna be a lot of spoiler. So I don't warn you before. And then after that, I'm gonna talk about child prostitution in general, and then I'm gonna relate it with the movie, and lastly, on the stigma against these children. So let's start! Yay! So firstly, about the movie Spirited Away. Spirited Away is a Japanese movie, or we call it as an anime. Sorry. So, hold on. So the movie start with a young girl named Chihiro, where in the beginning of the movie it's revealed that Chihiro and her family are moving away to a new town because of her father's work. So we're gonna see this scene at the start of the movie. Can you guys see it?
Nope.
So that is Chihiro holding a bouquet of flower, where she is basically sad that she has to move to a new town, and she kind of put a blame on her father, like why her father has to change different job and things like that. So hi, Natasha Norman, we just started. My name is Anith.
Hi.
Hi. So I just briefed them about the movie. So I'm just going to continue doing that. So and then the family gets lost and comes across a tunnel in the forest. And then they decide to enter the tunnel and they come across an abandoned building. That abandoned building looks like a theme park. Now, so they stroll along in the park, and then her parents, Chihiro's parents, came across 2 stores with food set up. So that is the scene. So you can see Chihiro and her parents. And then her parents decided that, oh, let's eat this food. It smells so delicious. It looks so good. And there's no store owner, so they decided to eat first and pay later. But Chihiro, she doesn't want to get into trouble, so she runs away to a different part of the theme park. And then, as the sun sets, she met Haku, which is another character. And then And then as the sun set or it comes to dawn, you can see there's like a figureless monster surrounding Chihiro there. So the monster starts to appear at the theme park. Not monsters, I would call it spirits. And then Chihiro ran and tried to find her parents. And when she found them, they already turned into pig. Okay, so about this scene, the pig is basically the metaphor behind this scene is to portray that if one's become greedy, like you consume too much, you will turn into pig. That's how that's basically the hidden message behind it. So I would just say now because because this particular scene got nothing to do with child prostitution. So I just feel like maybe I should just let you guys know. Because the movie was released in early 2001. So at that time, Japan's economy. Hi, Meow. No, it's okay. So during that time, Japan's economy just, this spirit transformation is basically a myth, just like a metaphor to show that if you are being greedy, you would be associated with pig. You know, like how people say if you eat too much, you are a greedy pig. Things like that. Okay. Thank you, Prisana, for the questions. Okay, and then she runs away again. So in this, basically in this anime, Chihiro runs away for, I don't know, maybe 5 times, 6 times from the problems that she faced. So as she's running, suddenly she came across a humanoid spirit named Haku. And then Haku helped Chihiro to basically overcome her obstacles and towards the end, release her parents back into human. So I'm just going to drop a few more picture. So that is a picture of Haku and Chihiro running away together. And then, so this is another character in the movie. The Spider-Man is called Kamaji or Boiler Man. And that is Chihiro at the wall. And that, if you see the girl that points to Chihiro is called a Yuna. So this Yuna I will relate this Yuna character with child prostitution later. Haku is not a human. Haku is a spirit. So basically in that world, every living things there are spirits. Yes, Haku turns out to be a dragon later. So only Chihiro and her parents are human, but since her parents are turned into pigs, so only Chihiro remains human in this anime. Fear, this is Japanese, not Korean. Okay, anyway, let's move on. Hi, Badr. Sorry. Okay, so this is a spirit called No Face. This is a very interesting character that I'm going to relate with child possession later. So basically, in this movie, No Face had a very clingy love towards Chihiro, where No Face tries very hard to gain Chihiro's attention by giving her gold, by helping her with her chores and things like that. But he failed to do so, and he became enraged, and he created chaos in the bathhouse. And towards the end, No Face became Chihiro's kind of like best friends. Okay, No Face ni nanti I terang lagi later. Oh, suddenly I jadi movie commentary Please bear with me, guys. Okay, so this is Haku. This is Haku in its dragon's form. Year 1, I'm wearing gloss. Thank you. So this is Haku in its dragon's form. So at this particular scene, Haku was sick, and Chihiro, in solving her parents' mystery, she decided that, wait, my parents can wait. I need to save Haku first because Haku saved me. Because Haku literally saved her from being a spirit or being eaten by the spirits there. Okay, and then this is a scene. So now we dah nak penghujung cerita. So as you can see, there's no face here, and this old lady here is called Zeniba. So in this scene, there's Yubaba and Zeniba. Okay, Yubaba, I tak letak gambar sebab I nak just surprise siapa Yubaba ni later. So this is Zeniba, twin sister Yubaba. Basically Yubaba ni jahat, Zeniba ni baik. Ya, betul Zuria, thank you. You kena tengok cerita dia sangat best. Ni my childhood favourite movie. Okay, so ni kita dah towards the end where the baby ni anak Yubaba. Yubaba is the old lady here, and this is Chihiro. So this scene is basically in order to release Chihiro's parents from Yubaba's spell, which is kan Yubaba jadi parents jadi pig kan. So now Chihiro naklah parents jadi human balik. So they made a deal. If Chihiro can rescue Yubaba's baby, the big baby here, then Yubaba's gonna release Chihiro's parents. So this is like a crucial scene in the movie, and then this is the last scene where Chihiro managed to free her parents and she runs away happily to go back to the human world. So basically what I just told you guys, this synopsis is not comprehensive. There's more details that I left out because I don't want to give spoilers to those who don't watch. Please watch it. It's a really good movie with a lot of underlying message. There's not only about child prostitution, there's also about environment, about family's love. There's so many messages in it. Okay, disclaimer, before we go detail in child prostitution, I would like to say that this is just a fan's theory. The studio or the production house, Studio Ghibli, or the animator himself, Miyazaki, they have not released an official statement saying that yes, this movie is about child prostitution. This is just basically theories that fans came out in like internet forums, and they kind of like convinced with this theory, and it kind of like, you know, being used by others to kind of relate child prostitution and this movie. Yes, yeah, true, Jasmine. And if you watch the movie, there's a lot of folk tales on Japanese anime here and there in the movies. Okay, so now we dah cakap pasal synopsis of the movie. So I'm gonna go into the second part, which is child prostitution in general. Okay, so the first question is, what is child prostitution? Haha. So in its simplest meaning, child prostitution is basically the use of children for sexual activities in exchange for remuneration or another form of retribution. Mostly child prostitution works in brothel, clubs, massage parlor, bars, fishy hotel or restaurants. It could be anywhere, in the back of the alley, or it could be at an expensive place. And then there are reportedly, I think as of 2008, there are 10 million children involved in this industry. And you can see like 80% are young girls and the rest would be boys. And child prostitution is illegal and banned throughout the world, especially to the country that ratifies the United Convention of Child's Rights, if I'm not mistaken, Article 34, that basically says that we need to protect the children from prostitution. So that's like the brief idea about child prostitution. So one might ask, like, who would want to engage in sexual activities with children? Hold up. in Pakistan, more than 95% of truckers or truck drivers engage in sexual activities with young boys. So the reason or the justification that they gave when the survey was conducted, basically they were like, oh, we were away from home for 21 days, so we deserve this activity to fulfill our needs or to act as a distraction during their off time. So that's like the main two justifications given by these truckers. So what I would like to say is that child prostitution is something that is mushrooming, I would say, in our society. But people, we don't really, it's not like we don't really care about it, it's just that we don't really give a spotlight on that particular matter. Yes, there are some human activists or women activists fighting for it, but the society itself is not that um, it's not that aware, or even if they are aware, they kind of like let it be, because there are many reported cases where not cases, I would say studies, where people, they don't even realize that there are child prostitution happening around their area. I think Malaysia, we don't see children on the streets that much as compared to countries. Yes, it's true here. Because even in the studies that I found, mostly when they talk about child prostitution, they will say about Thailand, Philippines, countries that has a lot of child trafficking or sex trafficking. Yes, it's true. But then that's the thing, because even in Malaysia, we have a lot of cases, but because there's Thailand that kind of like overshadow us, so Malaysians themselves don't think that, oh, is there really child prostitution happening here? Things like that. Is child prostitution just cogence? Okay. So, pada just cogence apa? Some of us might not know. Tiba-tiba I tanya dia balik kan. I think it's not that widespread generation because you don't see maternity. Okay, so for those who don't know, just cogence is basically a law that is recognized internationally, and it is something yang whatever it is, you have to abide by it. That is basically just cogence. I don't think so, brother, because even in the United Nations Convention tu, there are some countries yang tak ratify pun benda tu. But some small countries. So I don't think it's just cogence lah. Yes, it should. I think now NGO or activists macam nak push for it to be ratified by every countries. But then that's the thing. The idea is there, but the enforcement is another thing. Yeah, true. It relates to human rights and safety. Okay, thank you, Jasmine. Okay, about this news, there's also another case in Melaka that I can share nanti, dah hujung-hujung sikit. So, besides that, some might ask like, okay, why people interested in doing sexual activities with children, why not adults? So in the studies, there are 4 main reasons why men mostly prefer to engage with children. Is because first, it's easier to abuse children than adult, because children is seen as a fragile creature. So they are basically less able to defend themselves. And second is to boost their manlyhood. And then they also have this, I don't know why, but they have this thinking that if they have sexual activities with children, they will not contract HIV or STD. Which is like, but then if a lot of people have been doing it with the child, with that particular child, and that child contracted HIV, no matter what, you're still gonna get it. And the third reason is that sexual relation with child that is virgin, especially, will increase their virility, and lastly, to test power. Boost manlyhood, what does that mean? Or did I hear it wrong? Okay, one, basically, it boosts their ego. Like, it kind of like before they do it with an adult, they kind of like want to test their power with a child. And if they can reach erection, for example, it kind of like boosts their ego. So, can you guys guess what are the causes of child prostitution? Poverty, yes.
Sorry.
So Fiona says some are just paid pedophiles naturally sexually attracted to minors. Yes, it's true. So in dealing with child prostitution, there's men that is basically pedophile, and there's also another category that just want to test doing it with the children before they do it for real. Yes, Zuria, I would agree with you that ego plus some predators are known to enjoy seeing minors suffers. Okay, so the causes are yes.
Sorry. No, I just want to agree with all the points that are everybody's opinions about ego, manlyhood, predators, and seeing minors suffer. Because I mean, going back to when I remember about this is from what I know lah. Even like kids, especially when they're 12, being sexually assaulted and all that. I found out that it's actually quite sorry, just like like quite common for family members to actually engage in sexual activities. I've seen things like a brother that would force their younger sister to prostitution, things like that.
Yes, it's true.
And if you go to like sorry, if you go to like shelter homes, especially like you will see a lot of uh younger girls, especially when they're like 10, 11, 12, like that. They're in that state of mind where they're still confused why these things happen to them, and they see it as like a sorry, they see it as like a form of love lah. And it's very hard to kind of like unlearn that it's abuse, especially when you're at the age. So a lot of them think that they're doing this, if especially the person that's manipulating them to do this, they would say, oh, ini like untuk kebaikan for the family and things like that. So children are a lot more prone to that kind of abuse. Like, it's sick and disgusting, but it happens, especially what like but yeah, it happens all the time, especially when you use something against them to blackmail them. They won't really understand it as blackmail, but they will see as, if I do this, I won't get into trouble, and things like that. So yeah, sorry, I'm just like taking a moment.
Yes,
But yeah, I agree with all the points taken lah. So yeah. So yeah, child grooming is one of it. Yeah, like Fair said. Yeah, it's yeah. So I'm just like thinking back on the on um on my past and everything. So it's like a lot of it relates. Like a lot of people said that, oh, but dia suka, and I really hate that term because I feel like it's making light of the situation. So it's really more to it, and yeah, it's hard lah. So child prostitution. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, when we talk about child prostitution, it interrelated with a lot of things actually, with child sexual abuse, with child trafficking, and all of these kind of have like the same process where the child is being groomed first before the child actually engage into that activities. So thank you for sharing, Jasmine.
I'm just like, I'm gonna turn off the camera in case I need to.
Okay, okay, it's okay. Okay, so
Anith, can I share something?
yes, please.
I think it's important for us to take some time to understand what Jasmine had to say about how it is confusing for the child who is made to believe the abuse happening to him or her is a form of love, because that's usually and commonly the modus operandi for family abusers. Misalnya an uncle or an older cousin or even your own parent. So how they would normally groom children is dorang kata this is very normal. It is normal contohnya for an older brother to touch the breast or vagina of a younger sister. So if dari kecil this child is brainwashed to believe it's normal lah kot for my father to wash my vagina in the toilet, you know. So that's why when it comes to child sexual abuse, most children takkan go like they won't go traumatized at that point of time tau. Dia orang akan relax je, they can go play, they can still go to school. Because most of these abuses do not happen drastically. Dia bukannya contohnya orang datang serang dia. Kalau macam tu, yes, it can be traumatizing, it can be very drastic. Tapi for child sexual grooming, it's very complicated, complex, and it's more than what we understand.
True.
And if I may share, a friend of mine was also abused by her own father, and dia punya father punya modus operandi was dia guna alasan agama, you know. You tak boleh derhaka dengan your father, you kena follow apa father you nak, you are basically doing a good deed if you make your father happy. So these are legit you know, excuses that these predators make, and children believe them. So ini maksudnya where sometimes you don't see the child menangis dekat hospital or dekat police station because biasalah kot ayah I buat macam ni kat, like, dia tak tahu, it's not normal for other families not to, I mean, you know, to experience this. So thank you so much, Jasmine. That was really important for everyone to know.
Sending love and hugs.
Thank you. So I just actually, to be really honest, I didn't even know the term child grooming until I was like until I was in my 20s like that. But I know it was wrong. So for me, I think even without knowing at first that it's called child grooming, at least I had some guidance by my family that this is wrong. But I know there are some kids. I remember there was this one 12-year-old girl. She was very confused that her stepfather touching her inappropriately is just not, it's just very inappropriate. But she really was confused because she thought it was just her stepfather's form of showing love. And it was actually the mother that actually brought her to the welfare home because the mother reported about it. So, all the court cases and everything. And she at that time, bukan cari gaduh lah, but it was like she was very adamant, say, tapi apa suka saya je, like, it kind of hurts. It's like, so explaining to her was really hard. So there are some cases where so I know that it's child grooming is because of as I grew up, I understand that actually adults can manipulate you into doing something like this. It's not right for them to do things like this, like things like, even I think we had a reading session like child labor, for instance. Child labor is not right, but there are people that say, it's right if you're doing it for the family. So it's almost like the same context. So yeah, I feel like child prostitution, I found out that it's quite common, especially with family members, which is very sad, but it happens. So yeah, sorry. Like okay, but yeah, that's all I just wanted to share for now.
But
Okay,
it's
and
true.
thanks for letting me share.
Wait, let me read any comments in the chat. Okay, Pizarra said some kids were not exposed to the cause of incest. It's true. So breaking into systems, yes, it is. So that's the thing. That's why children, they are very fragile. They are very easy to be manipulated. They kind of like defenseless, I would say. So they are the easy target for these adults, irresponsible adults, to actually use them for their own personal gain and purpose. So basically in Malaysia, prostitution is acknowledged as a female issue because whenever we hear the word of prostitution, we will say, oh, it's an issue of women because it's the women who sells their bodies to the men. It is never the man's problem. It's always the women's problem for doing that. And then the women, or in our context, the children who were involved in these particular activities will be viewed in a specific manner. For example, like maybe they are deprived individuals in a functioning society, or maybe they are being oppressed by their families. That's why they seek out another way on how to find themselves. Or basically, this is like the justification given by, I'm sorry to say this, the Malay society, because the Malay society tends to put the blame on the girls, or on the child, or the child's family for how that particular child turns out to be. And also these children will also be labeled as morally and physically dirty, or maybe the lowest social class in the society, or maybe damaged. Basically all this negative stigma towards them. But then I would personally say, yeah, it's true. Anak dara patut jaga di narrative. Do you think sex education will help to tackle this issue? Interesting. What do you guys think? Would sex education be able to help tackle this issue?
I think it does though, because like children, right, they'll be able to understand, okay, what is okay and what is not okay, and what type of what do they say, touching, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
is okay, the good touch, the bad touch. So I
Yes.
think before this there was a module that was brought out, but it is still not established. So I think it's really important that, you know, this module is to be taught in schools, especially now that, you know, we have undi 18, whereby youths are already voting. So plus with all the technologies that's going on, right, so like students are more accessible to its porn sites and those kind of stuff. So it's very, very important that they understand the bad touch, the good touch, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I would agree with Zuria, because when I did some reading about this topic, I found Hai Tan. So when I'm doing reading about this topic, I found this one journal or article that basically saying that if these children were given a proper education, sexual education um, about these particular things, they would know and have the basis on deciding whether to proceed or not to proceed in engaging these sexual activities with all the guys. And then because the thing is that children, they lack the knowledge, and they also have lesser maturity, I would say, and awareness. So they don't fully understand that the risk of them engaging in these sexual activities. So that's why I think, yes, sexual education is very important, and I think it can help to actually tackle this issue if it is given properly. And I think sexual education needs to be a permanent subject. It shouldn't be like a one course thingy. It should be a subject taught thoroughly and properly, so that it will be ingrained in children's mind, and not just only children, even some adults, they don't even know what is sexual education, I would say. I don't think sexual education should be limited to, okay, Faye, don't even go there. Maybe we should have another discussion just for sexual education, because it is a very interesting topic. But yeah, roughly that would be it about it. Okay, so okay, jangan terlalu meriah sangat. Kita harus bertenang semua. Okay, and then guys, I was supposed to read the movie Child Prostitution. Hold on, let me take you guys back to the movie, okay? To main theme kita, Spirited Away. Okay, sabar. Okay, so Spirited Away is basically the English title, but the Japanese title is Sent to Chihiro no Kamikakushi. Benda tu. So, so the Japanese title for the movie is Sent to Chihiro no Kamikakushi, which means send the first letter. Okay, let me type it, because I see confusing eyebrows here and there. Sent to Chihiro no Kamikakushi. So the first letter, send, it means, send means 1,000 yen, which indicates the worth of Chihiro in this character. So as a prostitute.
Oh, Sento Hiro no Kamikakushi.
Yeah.
This is something like you are giving money, so it's money and sending Chihiro away to spirit realm, in other words, like spiriting away. So the kami derives from like God, but it also can mean spirit. Kushi is kind of like you're meaning to say as in like away, sending away kind of.
Hidden, yeah.
True. Yeah, so Japanese, okay.
Yeah, it's true. So that's why this theory that this movie is about child prostitution is very hotly debated, I would say, because even the name give off that kind of vibe. Okay, so so in this movie there's bathhouse. If you see, wait, let me letak gambar bathhouse. So this is the bathhouse. This is the bathhouse that Chihiro saw for the first time, and also where she would work later. So, so you might wonder like, apa kaitan bathhouse dengan child prostitution theory? So if you see the blue curtain at the bathhouse, the blue curtain here, can you guys see it?
Yeah.
This one. There's a blue curtain here, right? So the Japanese symbol for that blue curtain is U. And U means hot water. There, at the blue curtain there. So basically it means that hot water is a bathhouse. So in Edo period, back in Japanese older era, samurai or men, they will go to this bathhouse to meet with women called yuna. Okay, yuna is basically hot water women.
Oh.
Yes.
Hot water women.
Okay, so these hot water women, they kind of like have two roles. First is as an attendant, like maybe if the man needs towels, they will give towels, needs scrub, they will give scrub, need massage, they will give massage. and also they also provide sexual service, sexual activities service. So Yuna is also the name of the race of the female spirits in the bathhouse. So these people. Wait. So as you can see at this particular scene, when Chihiro was first introduced to the servants in the bathhouse, all the girls behind her were labeled as Yuna, or the Yuna spirits, hot water women spirit. Which, if we relate back to the Edo period, this Yuna serves as prostitutes to the men that goes to bathhouse. Yes, Onna is women. So you hot water, Onna is women. So hot water women. Okay, one, I think back in the because this is from the Japanese Edo period. When I read, I mean, it's not like I do read like 1,000 articles. I read like maybe 3 articles. Mostly only women work as at the bathhouse. I haven't found anything about men working at the bathhouse. Maybe there is, but maybe not as prostitutes. Maybe more like a servants that help with the boiling water. Because back then in the area, back then in that era, they use like charcoal and firewood to boil the water and flow the water from the boiling room towards the bathhouse. I think in Japan they are quite open about homosexuality. Even back in the days, there are like stories where men and men, women and women, and also women and men. Yeah. But the thing about Japan is that they do this in secret. So in the society it seems normal, but actually in secrets there are activities between same sexes and different sexes. Macam in Thailand dia memang macam itulah dia. Macam kita nampak berdepan, tapi yeah, but then in Japan I would say ada je, cuma macam dia tak yeah, tak show.
I feel that Edo period in bathhouses are very common, not as much as brothels, but they have a dedicated street where they call it the you Janai. It's something with K. It starts with K. I forgot what it is. But there's a visual novel game that heavily emphasis on this. It's like an entire street of just brothels, and then there are like ranks of prostitutes. They call it, but there is a dedicated there's like a dedicated place where you can actually hire a male attendant, so they can play music for you, or they can you can spend the night with them. But yeah, it's mostly go by ranking lah. It's like, and yeah. But yeah, I think homosexuality in Japan, as far as I remember, it's like what Anith said. It's not very obvious, but they do it in like the shadows, because it's still frowned upon. But Japan culture is kind of like that. Like they don't like something to just be right there on display. It has to be in secret because it's considered polite. It's considered more cultured that way. So yeah.
Because when we see or hear about Japanese,
kabukicho.
There's this like a normalized standard that they are very cultured people. So that's why we think about like they don't do this kind of thing, but actually they are. Okay, geisha is not prostitute. Geisha they do serve men, but mostly on like serving the alcohol, playing the shamisen. Shamisen is like a traditional Japanese musical instrument. And mostly what they do is they kind of like sit on the men's lap when the man is drinking and getting drunk and just like an escort, yeah. But they don't do sexual activities. So geisha is like a higher standard of prostitute, that kind of thing lah. Yeah, there's actually a term for prostitute in Japan, but I forgot what is it. I mean, because Yuna is for in bathhouses, but in a modern Japanese, I think there is still bathhouses, but it has been prohibited to actually have sexual activities there. So they go to brothels. So, apa ni ada soalan?
He,
GRO, jangan saya. GRO. Dulu, back then I used to believe that GRO are prostitutes, but then I think GRO are more to escorts. Okay, so then we have Chihiro or Sen. Okay, going back to Spirited Away, guys. So this is Chihiro, our main character. So Chihiro, if you realize at the Japanese title, there's two names, Sen and Chihiro. So Sen and Chihiro actually refers to the same person, which is that girl. So back then in the Edo period, whenever a girl is turned into a prostitute, she must change her name, or we call it as Genjina. So Genjina is a nickname. So in Sen's case, in Chihiro's case, when she was offered work at the bathhouse, she was forced to change her name from Chihiro to Sen. And then the reason why her name was changed to Sen is because the word chi in Chihiro, okay, one thing about Japan is that there are two ways in reading their syllables. For example, like kita ada kata ayam kan. So kita macam ayam tu ayam lah, chicken. Tapi in Japan, ayam could be ayam or chicken, or ayam could be ayam, which is another thing. So that's how Japanese symbol are. So in this case, the word sen is actually derived from Chihiro's name. And the word, as I said earlier, the word sen means 1,000 yen to indicate Chihiro's worth as a prostitute in that bathhouse. So the reason why back then in the Edo period, why they were forced to change their names, it was mainly because so that if anything happened to the girls, no one will find them. Because, for example, let's say you were born with the name of Aoi, and then now you change your name to Kazuki. So when Kazuki dies, no one will know that Kazuki and Aoi is the same person. That's the idea back then. Because basically back then during the Edo period, these Yuna or the prostitutes in these bathhouses, they are treated like slaves. Like their life are close to nothing. So it's easy to dispose them. Now the third character that relates to child prostitution would be Yubaba. Yubaba is this person, this grandma. So this is Yubaba, the owner of the bathhouse. So Yubaba means hot water all woman. You, hot water, Baba, old woman. So in a modern form, we would say Yubaba is the pimp, the one who manage all the Yuna or the prostitutes in the bathhouses. So her role in this is as a manager, director, owner of the bathhouse, where she benefited from the girls' work. So it can be proven in one of the scenes where Yubaba, she is obsessed with goals. Okay, look at all the gems and gems. Sorry, gem is a different thing. Gems and diamonds and the gold surrounding Yubaba. So this is to indicate that Pim would always be so extravagant, so elegant on how they would dress themselves as compared to the prostitutes. And then if you can see, Yubaba is actually wearing Western clothes. It's actually like a Lolita gown. This is because back then in the Edo period, most of the customers of the bathhouses would be Western soldiers or Westerns, basically Westerners, like maybe traders or soldiers. And they would give this pimp with Western clothing. So when a person wearing Western clothing in Japan, that person would be deemed as a wealthy person of a higher status. So that's the metaphor behind it. And the last character would be No Face. No Face apparently is everyone's favorite in this movie. So this is No Face. No Face is a spirit that has no form. It can turn into anything that it wants. Hence the name No Face. So apa kaitan No Face dengan movie ni? Anyone can guess? Okay, Fizana kata protector. Entahlah, okay. Thank you, Pierre. So No Face actually represent the pedophile who constantly wants to buy Chihiro. So in this movie, there are a lot of scenes where No Face try to bribe Chihiro by giving her gold, money, even stole the bath coins for Chihiro to do her chores. So this is one of the scenes where No Face is trying to bribe Chihiro by giving her gold. Okay, the reason why people suka dia because when you watch the story in the first place, you takkan associate this movie with child prostitution. So No Face is seen as a very cute character because towards the end of the movie, No Face akan help Chihiro to overcome all of these obstacles and find her parents back. Tapi okay, back to our you kena terima tu hakikat. back to our apa tu relationship between the child prostitution and No Face. So basically, it represents how the society works or how the guy would manipulate the girls to to say yes in engaging sexual activities with them by by like what we discussed earlier, basically the grooming process. You provide them with gift or money. You sweet talk to them. Yes, he's a groomer. Okay, no, Munira, you kena faham cerita by defensive kan, saya suka movie. No, Munira, you kena faham. You tengok cerita ni before you baca teori ni. So, waktu tu kena nampak, No Face ni dia sangat baik, comel. Tapi sekarang you tahu teori ni, that's why you rasa dia jahat. Tapi, okay, let me remind against everyone that this theory is not confirmed by the producer or the animator. This is just fan theories. So please don't go out there and attack everyone yang suka Spirited Away. Some of them might not know about this theory, okay? Comel apa? Rape apologies. Yes, this is fan theory. Okay, so according to the article yang I bagi korang, yang I bagi link tu, basically that's like the 4 main theory why people think Spirited Away ni ada kaitan dengan child prostitution. You, no face jahat.
No, there is an actual cosplay job. It's a very famous kid. Wait,
Yang
kid
that one lawa because
cosplay.
the kid beside the no face kid tu menangis.
There it is. Wait, I think I found it. Okay,
Jasmine, please share.
okay, yeah. It's here. She's very cute, but no face is not cute lah. So
No face without the theory, cute. No face after knowing theory, no cute anymore.
this one.
Okay, Munira, kan you kata, wow, this movie is not safe for kids. But there's another strong theory to rebut this child prostitution theory. Another theory is that Miyazaki, the animator for this movie, dia cakap in one interview yang this movie is based on his friend's daughter. So one day they went to a cabin, like a summer cabin kind of thing. And then when he saw that friend's daughter, she was like 10 years old, she felt like kids are so innocent. And she felt like waktu tu in 2001, there are not a lot of movies yang can relate to a 10-year-old punya masalah. So in that another theory, basically nak kata macam Chihiro, if you tengok the movie, you can nampak Chihiro ni seorang yang tak matang. Sebabnya macam in the beginning, she felt very sad, kena pindah, and then she macam blame the parents why kena pindah. Macam she couldn't understand like she pindah tu sebab her father kena kerja tempat lain. And then you can see that Chihiro is very degil. And then you can see yang Chihiro juga dia macam very intuitive. Macam before they entered the theme park, Chihiro macam dah like, oh, I don't think we should go in, we should stop, let's go back and things like that. Yeah, because pasal yang tak nak makan tu because you know like kids kalau dia takut atau tak suka, they won't even move, they won't even budge, even if you bagi dia guru-guru yang dia suka pun. So that's another theory lah yang kata. So there's like the two end of the theories, the extremists and the other end. Oh, okay, 3 people are typing, I'm scared. Chihiro umur dia berapa? I think 10 years old in that movie. Saya yakin. Sekali dia dah lagi tua kan. Sebab dari movie is quite mind-bending. Too many theories. Yeah, it's true. They don't. Some fans, they even like wrote letters and sent to the studio asking for clarification. But they were like, what letter? I think I find it interesting like how one innocent anime meant for kids can have so many underlying theories and issues happening, and it actually can relate to our current society punya situation. Itulah. True. Please watch the movie. I highly recommend it because there are so many other matters yang dia touch juga selain daripada child prostitution ni. Kalau tak ada link lah, I tak tahu website movie. Selalu apa kalau movie?
It's on Netflix.
It is?
Yeah, the whole Studio Ghibli collection is on Netflix. I would say, if I remember, sebab the last time I watched this movie was kecil-kecil dulu lah, about 8-7 years old. I frankly think everything about the movie was scary, so I don't know how it was a kids movie to begin with. So I think I think now that I watch it again, it's still it's still not kid friendly. So maybe at the time if but this is memang Miyazaki type of style lah. Like they like the animation, but it's not really meant for kids. Like Kiki Delivery Service, Totoro is meant for kids lah. But I feel Spirited Away was not meant for kids. But it just so happened that we were exposed to it when we were young, so it's like very mind. I don't know. It just like it plays with your mind a lot. Like I feel it was, yeah. Courage the Cowardly Dog was unique. It was
I entering my bathroom after watching Cowardly Dog. Because that one episode yang alien datang dia punya bilik air and try to bunuh the grandma. Tapi takut-takut pun still tengok. Hari-hari tunggu depan Cartoon Network. True? Okay, so today's discussion. I'm so sorry. I know that today's discussion is not very comprehensive because the topic is very big, so I couldn't really touch everything. So that's why I tried to pinpoint here and there in that particular topic. So I hope everyone gets something from today's discussion. So before I truly end this discussion, I just want to give to make us ponder yang macam I think we can say that child prostitution is an issue that needs to be tackled. But then is it that particular child or the society that actually needs to be blamed about this? Because do we as a society really care about our children's right and provide enough protection for them to not get involved in this prostitution? So I think there's a very big and vague questions that that so many people will be pinpoint at, and so yeah. Okay guys, if you have anything else to say, please do so. Kalau you nak leave macam nak leave pun dipersilakan.
I think I will watch Spirited Away and be berani sikit, be mind blown lagi kot. But but thank you so much, Anith. It's definitely a big topic that really kind of interlinks a lot of other topics like child rights, child labor, child sexual grooming and all.
Trafficking also.
Yeah, trafficking. So I think it's a very vast topic now. Maybe could be even breaking into parts. But I definitely see the connection between Spirited Away and child prostitution. I'm sorry, I just cannot see the movie the same. Even back then, it was just weird. Yes, Jeffrey Armstein. I think it's so weird because people just don't realize what pedophilia even means. Like some people are just like, oh, I suka budak, but you suka budak and sexualizing budak is very different. It's a very different perspective. So yeah, it's a good start actually, or rather good step to Thank you.
Thank you. True.
Yes, Netflix. Oh.
True. I think we should let kids explore. You can't really limit their scope, and but you at the same time you cannot let them roam free juga. Tapi it's quite hard kan, macam there's a very fine thin line like where you should put a stop or put a barrier as to bila nak bagi anak you explore benda and you kena control dia. Supervise adventure. Okay. So those who are working, happy working tomorrow. Please have a good rest. Yang tak working pun, please have a good rest and a good night's sleep. Thank you for joining. Oh, if you guys have any topic yang you rasa interesting nak we talk about, comment lah dekat the chat box. Maybe the next speaker can tackle the issue ke apa. Thank you. Munira. You guys can also be speaker, you know. Bukan yang more members je.